Hello, everybody, and welcome to the In From Japan podcast, episode 37. Oh, I mixed up the order of words. As always, I'm your host, Erroll Moss, and I am deceased. And you'll find out why later. And with me is my co-host, the phenomenon from Suriname, Jason Corder.
Hey.
And like we always do, we're going to start with the This is the In From Japan podcast, the podcast where we talk about the latest news on Japan-developed games and other things in relation to them, available on Spotify, Podbean, and YouTube. And now, as we usually do, we're going to start with the Japanese games we've been playing this week. So, I have a little less this week, which is kind of good, works out with how much news we have. And it seems like you have a little less too. So Captain Tsubasa is still kind of making my way through new hero mode, slowly but surely. It's not getting that much better, but still just trying to figure things out. I haven't played it all that much. I did like another game or two. And then, I've been playing other non-Japanese games that I'd rather not talk about. You can find out what those are on parallaxmedia.one. Anyway, I also tried the fitness boxing trial.
Okay.
As from that article I think we had last week about how it was selling a lot of copies due to Ring Fit being sold out. It's not a great game, but it's good for like a light morning workout. That's about all I have to say about it. It has like pop songs, but they're like instrumental versions of pop songs, and some people hate that. A lot of people actually really hate that, apparently. I actually like it because I think it makes the songs a little less annoying when I'm like listening to the same stuff over and over again. And the voice acting is also really bad, but I don't care about the voice acting in a fitness game.
I mean, it's supposed to be, I don't even want to call it a game, more like a fitness software. It's not supposed to be gamified as Ring Fit Adventure. Which is,
it's a rhythm game, essentially.
Come again?
It's a rhythm game.
Ring Fit Adventure or fitness boxing?
No, a fitness boxing.
I feel like it's more of a fitness thing than a game.
Well, it's both because the way you do it, it plays exactly like a rhythm game was. The only difference is you're doing the punches instead of the notes.
Mechanically, I get that, because if you'd be in a fitness room and there's an instructor in front of you, you'd have to match the moves. So it kind of tracks there. But to call it a game, I think it feels like a stretch compared to Ring Fit Adventure.
Compared to Ring Fit, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But it's not meant to be like this ginormous RPG. It's meant to keep you lightly exercised, so to speak. So, yeah. Did it have any effect on you? Did you feel winded? Did you feel like you were burning calories, sweating, whatever?
My arms and back are sore.
Okay, that either means the workout was good or you're not getting enough exercise as is.
Probably both.
Okay. Yeah. So that's all you've been playing this week?
As for Japanese games, yeah, pretty much.
What about
I did go back to Monster Hunter World for a second a few nights ago, and I got one hunt done, like to progress the story forward, or one of the hunts I needed, and I was like, oh, that was good. Because I like when I'm having trouble with a monster, I usually get somebody online to come help, and somebody did, and I did that, and then so I did the other hunt because it's paired with another hunt, but nobody ever wants to hunt that specific monster for some reason. They don't like it. It's not that I don't think it's that hard of a monster. I just think nobody wants to play against it. People have moved on.
Okay.
The Nightshade Palomu.
And when it comes to Captain Tsubasa, have you still had difficulty progressing, or do you think?
With new story mode, it's still been easy, and then I went back to Tsubasa, the Tsubasa story mode, and yeah, it still felt a lot harder. And it's because It's because on the Tsubasa story mode, you have maybe 1 or 2 characters who who actually have like a power move to shoot the ball into the goal. In the new hero mode, you have at least like 5, I feel like.
Okay. So it's a bit lower barrier of entry into create a character story mode.
Yeah.
Okay. It's strange because I've never seen mention of the difficulty in any of the other reviews, but
well, yeah, no, that's what's strange to me too. It's difficult for me particularly, and that's what's weird to me. It's like I don't know. There's something about sports games that just kind of throws me off for some reason. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like I love the game otherwise.
Yeah, but
it's just like, what am I doing wrong? And I've read threads about like how to play and stuff, and like nothing has seemed to help. I'm like, well, that doesn't like playing this way doesn't make sense to me because then you run out of stamina and this, and then this happens. So like, I just need to maybe it's just figure it out.
Yeah, or maybe it's just not the game for you. That happens sometimes. Sometimes a game just
but
doesn't
I really
click.
like it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
I'll figure it out.
Okay. Let's see, what have I been playing? I've been playing Sakura Wars a bit. I'm making like steady progress through the game. I think I'm on episode 3 now. There are like 8 episodes, which is really interesting because the game is structured like an anime series, complete with on that next episode, which is really cool because the theme song kicks in and you get highlights of the next episode as if it were an actual anime. And I still think it's a bit too easy. I do like the personal dilemmas though, because you have to navigate through dialogue as if it was a romance anime, and it makes for some interesting and amusing scenarios, to say the least. So yeah, it's pretty fun. I still think the combat is too easy though, because you can pretty much hack and slash your way through the enemies without much thought. You have to dodge every now and then, and you have a little slowdown effect if you dodge at the right time. But having that said, it's still too easy, and it being from a franchise with a more tactical nature, it's kind of disappointing that they couldn't find a way to implement that in this game. So hopefully they'll have that for the sequel. But I did see an announcement last week, I think, for a mobile Sakura Wars game, and that is shaping up to be a bit more tactical. But
I don't think I saw that.
Yeah, I'll send you a link later. Besides that, I've also been playing a Korean game, actually. It's not Japanese, I know, but I wanted to make a quick mention of it because I haven't seen it mentioned anywhere else. It's called Lord of Heroes, and it's your standard mobile turn-based RPG. But what does strike me is that the presentation is very well done. The graphics are great, the character designs are great. Kind of reminds me of Kyoto Anime or Sword Art Online character design, so they're pretty appealing. And
yeah, that's one word for it.
Come again?
I said, yeah, that's one word for it.
I'm just talking about the character designs, not the story. If you hate the story, get out of here. But it's a really fun game, and I like how dedicated they are to telling their narrative. It's about politics, it's about lords and kings and conspiracies, and it's a cool narrative, and I like how dedicated they are. So I just want to give them a special shout out. But yeah, that's what I've been playing this week.
Oh, okay. So next up is the In From Japan J list of recent video game related entertainment news. We have one news story. This is from Anime News Network by Jennifer Sherman. Nintendo confirms Super Mario Bros. Film's 2022 opening. Nintendo confirmed in its fiscal year ending March 2021 corporate management policy briefing on Wednesday that Illumination's animated film adaptation of Nintendo's Super Mario Bros. Game franchise will open in theaters in 2022. The briefing noted that production is moving ahead smoothly. Illumination founder Chris Meledandri told entertainment news source Variety in November 2018 that the film was in priority development for a possible theatrical debut by 2022. Meledandri is co-producing the film with Super Mario Bros. Creator Shigeru Miyamoto. Meledandri stated that Miyamoto is front and center in the creation of this film, and noted that the original creative voice is often absent from Hollywood film adaptations. Yeah, like the last Super Mario Bros. Movie.
Yeah. Ever since Nintendo has been very wary, like with the Super Mario movie, the first one, Nintendo has been very wary to adapt their properties. And I also kind of want to mention that them adapting it to a new movie, an animated CG movie, is why they're pretty tight on their IP with characters and character design. So if you see news popping up about game makers not being able to tweak Mario characters, it's because of this movie.
You mean
and
like
the
the
IP.
Paper Mario article from a few weeks ago?
Yeah.
But that's a different series.
It is a different series, but because it's tied to the Mario IP, it has to go through so many hoops before something gets greenlit. Compare that to, let's say, the MCU. You can't just introduce a thing. You have to go through a story group. You have to go through character designs and see if it matches the canon interpretation. The same with Star Wars.
Yeah.
It happens with any of the bigger IP.
Star Wars, I don't know about that.
I mean, read the article Jason Schreier did about Scoundrel, and you'll see a lot of similarities between this and that, where the developers were kind of hampered in creative expression because it didn't match what the LucasArts or Lucasfilm game division had envisioned.
Yeah. I just didn't know what to say after that.
Yeah.
Alright, yeah, that's all for that section. So next is recommended content other than news from the past week listed out, links in the description. So we have COVID-19 pandemic and local politics threaten the future of anime conventions by Roland Keltz over at Japan Times, a different source than usual. Ring Fit Adventure is the only exercise routine I've ever kept up with by Katie McCarthy over at US Gamer. How Arthel Insum became the head of his own anime studio in Japan by Alexander Julian Gibson for GQ, another different source than usual. Yakuza Like a Dragon, Will Yoon Lee video talks about Masato Arakawa, I think that's the character he plays, by Jenny Latta for Silicon Era. Kazutaka Kodaka talks about Death Come True and developing games by Jenny Latta for Silicon Era. Oh, and this next thing is also a review on games Moon is worth the effort, also by Jenny Latta, Silicon Era. She's just doing everything.
Yeah.
And Super Mario 3D's All-Stars discussion and our favorite Mario games, NVC 526 by IGN staff. Alright, so now it's time for the news rundown. And we have one piece of bad-ish news for Jason this week, finally. So I'll let the bearer of bad news take it away, the Shinigami himself.
Bankai. Okay. More GameStop stores will close in 2020. This is from Jenny Latta.
Really, Shinigami today.
This is from Jenny Latta for Silicon Era. The number of GameStop stores closing in 2020 will be higher than the original 320 estimate. On September 9th, 2020, during an earnings call, it came up that around 400 to 450 of the 5,122 stores now open will be closed. In March 2020, the estimate for store closures in 2020 was set to be around 320. This also doesn't mean that GameStop stores will be safe from further downsizing in 2021. During the call, Chief Financial Officer Jim Bell suggested even more stores will close or would close next year. And I just have to say, what is GameStop doing? Like, it kind of feels like they're just going about with business as usual.
Well, remember, before the pandemic happened, they planned on like changing up the whole way like GameStop was structured, and it was supposed to be more of like an experience type of thing.
Yeah, I get that, but
then the pandemic messed all that up, and then they couldn't really do
something's
that.
Gotta give. Something's gotta give.
It's gonna be probably gone eventually in the next couple of years,
which is unfortunate because a lot of people will then lose their jobs.
Yeah, so that's what I was gonna say. That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like you can hate on GameStop all you want, but I've been very lucky in that I've never had a bad experience with anybody who works there.
I mean, you can hate
I know a few people who work there now.
You can hate the executive decisions. You don't have to hate the people that work there or those affected by the executive decisions.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a mess. Use your power-up points while you still can, and your subscription to Game Informer, because we don't know what's going to happen to Game Informer once GameStop shuts down.
Yeah.
And
next up is all you.
Yeah. So in better news, HappyNet TGS 2020 Showcase will include R-Type Final 2. This is by Kite Stenbuck for Silicon Era, and this is just just kind of a briefing on their on the stuff that they'll show. So more details on the HappyNet Game Showcase in TGS 2020 have surfaced. Games from various publishers such as Granzella's R-Type Final 2 and a new game from Inti Creates will be featured during this stream. The HappyNet Game Showcase will show promotional trailers of upcoming games from HappyNet's partner publishers. Other publishers that will participate in the showcase include Broccoli, which will release Jack John, an Otomi game by Sui Ishida of Tokyo Ghoul fame. We talked about that game a long time ago. And Entergram, which has Umineko no Naku Koro ni Saku. Is that Umineko when they cry or something?
Sounds like it.
Is that like a Higurashi type of thing? Oh no, it doesn't look like it. The stream will be hosted by Gorgeous, a famous comedian in Japan. It will also provide live gameplay of the featured games as well as discussions with other guests. The initial list of publishers, so Broccoli has Jack John for Switch, Uta no Prince Sama debut for Nintendo Switch, Entergram, which has Ryo no Oshigoto for PS4 and Switch, Kaleidoscope of Phantasm Present for PS4, PlayStation Vita, and Switch, Umineko no Naku Koro ni Saku for PS4 and Switch, Inti Creates, one title coming soon, so unannounced, Kozen with Panty Party Kanzentai. Oh god, I wonder what that game is. Not
Who
real.
knows?
City Connection with two unannounced titles coming soon. Granzella with R-Type Final 2 for PS4, Switch, Xbox One, and PC. Just On with Yuan Sword 7 for PS4 and Food Girls for Switch, and then a studio called Peaky with one title coming soon. HappyNet Game Showcase will be streamed on the official TGS 2020 online channel on September 26, 2020 at 12 o'clock to 13:50 Japanese Standard Time. I don't know. Yeah, so the Jack John thing is kind of interesting to me still, because, the Tokyo Ghoul artist. And Inti Creates. Because Inti Creates just has an unannounced game. That's pretty interesting. I wonder if it's like... I doubt it can't be another Gunvolt game, can it? I don't know if they'd announce that there.
It's possible, because they're on a pretty good roll with the Gunvolt games, it seems.
That's true.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, we have Nier Automata, or Automata, what have you, and Yakuza are part of Xbox Game Pass's Android launch. This is by Jenny Olada for Silicon Era. A lot of games are going mobile, thanks to the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate Android launch. The Project xCloud enhancements that will let people who subscribe to the $15 per month service will kick off on Android devices on September 15, 2020, and the over 150 launch games have been revealed. Most interesting is that the lineup includes Nier Automata, Yakuza 0, Yakuza Kiwami, and Yakuza Kiwami 2. Those 4 are only a handful of the games from Japanese developers and publishers or inspired by Japanese series showing up in the service. Koji Igarashi's Bloodstained Ritual of the Night is there. Also, if people like Metroidvanias, there are Momodora Reverie Under the Moonlight and Toho Luna Nights 2. For those looking for beat-em-ups, the Kunio follow-up from Way Forward, River City Girls, will show up soon, and Streets of Rage 4 from .emu will be around. You can click on the article for a full list of what's available. It's a pretty sizable list, so have fun.
That's a good list for a launch.
Yeah. Okay, next up we have Super Mario 3D All-Stars physical pre-orders selling out. This is by Jenny Latta for Silicon Era. When Nintendo announced Super Mario 3D All-Stars, it noted physical copies would be limited and digital ones would only be available until the end of March. Now it seems we are starting to see a side effect of that. A few days ahead of launch, most retailers are completely sold out of their allotment of Super Mario 3D All-Star physical copies. Amazon, GameStop, Target, and Walmart all show the game as completely sold out. In-stock options are available for Amazon, Target, and Walmart though, and GameStop is still selling digital codes. Yeah, and this happened to me as well because Best Buy canceled my pre-order for the physical copy, so I'm kind of forced to go. I'm kind of forced to go digital, which is unfortunate. And scalpers.
Yeah, I thought that would happen to me too.
Scalpers, why?
Scalpers are the worst, and we'll talk more about why later. But
not just scalpers, because I've heard YouTubers and other gaming personalities on Twitter or YouTube, as I mentioned, say like, oh yeah, I ordered multiple physical copies, and I'm like, you're kind of part of the problem, you're like eating up all the.
It depends. It depends, right? Because if it's like a group of gaming people who actually like need it for their job, technically, like how. Remember, like Tim Geddes was saying how he was able to pre-order for I don't know if it was the whole KF team, but like at least a good chunk. And it's like, well, that's kind of their job. So like,
no, but okay. I'm specifically looking at people who are buying more than they need, not people who need for their jobs.
So like a single person buying more than one.
Yeah, because someone's looking like,
that's annoying.
This pre-order will probably go through. I'll just go on a different site to snag another physical one just to be sure.
Yeah,
I'm like, you're kind of shrinking the pool of resources for the rest of us. It's not
a lot of places. A lot of places are limited to one per customer.
Yeah, and I think this phenomenon is going to pop up later again in the other stories we're going to be discussing.
Yeah.
Okay. Next
it's a mess.
up, it's all you.
Taiko no Tatsujin Rhythmic Adventure Pack launches November 26th in Japan and Southeast Asia. This is from Gamatsu. This is by Sal Romano. I switched the things again. Brain. Dual RPG Adventure Pack gets a release date. Taiko no Tatsujin Rhythmic Adventure Pack will launch for Switch on November 26th in Japan and Southeast Asia, Bandai Namco announced. In the West, the game is due out this winter. Given the fact that it is a digital-only release in the West, it is possible it will also launch on November 26th. However, Bandai Namco have yet to make an official announcement. Also, the drum is still up for pre-order and also has that winter date, so it'll probably come out around that time. I'm excited for it. Especially now that we have the controller. I'm really excited for it. It's unfortunate we can't get the physical version, but I don't really mind that as much.
Yeah.
I'm just glad we're getting it at all. honestly, because we were starved at Taiko for so long, and then they came to PS4 and Switch in 2017, and now we're getting more.
I mean, I imagine it's still a very niche game.
Yeah, because rhythm games aren't what they used to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
okay.
Depending on what they are.
Yeah. Okay, next up we have Konami TGS 2020 info show will reveal Eden's Zero game adaptation. This is by Kite Stenbuck, which is probably the greatest name that should go to an RPG character for Silicon Era.
Why don't we try to get him on the podcast and just tell him how cool his name sounds?
Yeah. Konami has revealed that the new game it will reveal at Tokyo Game Show 2020 is a game adaptation of Eden's Zero. The announcement will take place at the Konami Info Show stream scheduled to air on September 26, 2020. Eden Zero is the latest manga title currently being worked on by Hiro Mashima, the mangaka artist who is most well known for Fairy Tail and Rave Master. Unlike the aforementioned titles, Eden Zero is a science fiction manga. Well, science fantasy, because he's clear to make that distinction in the afterword of the manga. It's a science fiction manga that tells the story of Shiki Granbell, a human boy who sets off on a journey in space.
That is such a fairy tale name.
I don't know about that.
It's such a fairy tale sounding name.
It's a very Mashima game. Mashima name.
The name is... What Granbell?
Shiki.
Shiki Granbell.
It's how he names his characters. He names his characters after seasons.
Haru. Yeah. I don't know what Haru's last name is in Rave Master. I just know his name is Haru.
It's not a fairy tale thing. It's a Mashima thing. Trust me.
Okay, he just makes his names like that. Okay.
Yeah. A human boy who sets off on a journey in space with the space traveler Rebecca Bluegarden and her cybernetic cat Happy. Let's see. The live stream will also have more information about Eden Zero's anime adaptation, which was also revealed recently. Hiro Mashima himself was the first person to confirm it on his Twitter account on June 12th, 2020. Which kind of is like a bummer, because I scrolled Twitter, I think yesterday, and I saw one of his tweets, and I translated it, and I saw, oh, Eden Zero's game is going to come. Like, oh, I have a scoop. Little did I know, I'm just 6 hours late to everyone else publishing this.
Whoops.
Yeah. But yeah, this is cool. It's also strange that it's being done by Konami, which, okay.
After the Koei Tecmo thing, like, I wonder if
game.
So I wonder, is it gonna? Well, no, but those are Kojima games, and he's not with Konami anymore, so that doesn't really make sense.
I think
the only thing I could think
like
with, with the only thing with Konami and like sciencey things I could think of are like Metal Gear Solid and Zone of the Enders, and those are both Kojima things.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're just mostly doing Yu-Gi-Oh! And Bomberman and Pachinko slots.
They're actually steadily coming back to gaming. It's not like overt as what Capcom's doing these days, but they're steadily making their way back to the gaming foray. And with rumors heating up about Silent Hill, 2 of them, in fact, it's not surprising, but it's also very surprising that they're doing an anime adaptation, which, okay.
Yeah.
If you're interested in why he names his characters this, the latest manga volume has the reasoning for the names in the afterword, so you might want to check that out.
So, being somebody who's been reading it, what kind of game do you think this is going to be? Because it's clearly not going to be like turn-based like the Fairy Tail game, I don't think.
Well, I think it's going to be a character action game, because every character has special abilities, and the special abilities kind of lend themselves to interesting battles. If I had to guess, it's probably going to be a Muso style game, but I'm thinking less proper Muso and more like the Fate Muso games. So it's probably going to be something like that. But
so Muso-like.
Yeah, Muso-like.
Kind of like the Kamen Rider Batrine War games. Or I don't have any other examples. That's the only example.
Like I said, like the Fate games on Switch and PS4. Those are also Muso-like.
Okay. Huh. Well, that'll be interesting to see. Well, depending on how much we see of it.
Yeah. Okay, next up, we have Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VIII Switch Twin Pack listings appear in Europe. This is by Jenny Latta for Silicon Era. Yet another retail leak has shown up on September 16, 2020, though this one has to do with a more global release of an item already available. Okay. The Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy...
I think in Japan it was already available. Japan and Southeast Asia.
There's a typo in the copy, so that's why I stopped.
Oh, okay.
The Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VIII Remastered Twin Pack. Physical copies appeared in Asia in 2019. Now, both the Console Club and Game Explorers have product pages for the FF7 and FF8 Switch Twin Pack. You can check the article for more details. I'm guessing this won't be coming to the West, so you'll probably have to import this rather than pre-order this. So good luck with that. I don't think I'll be getting it because I already have FF8 digitally on my Switch and FF7 digitally. I'm not really interested in
7 or 8. Give us 9 physical, you cowards! Even though I already have it digitally.
Why are you not interested in 7 or 8?
Well, one, I haven't played 8. I've played 7, and I'm just like, I'm not that big of a fan of 7. Like, it's cool.
Okay.
8, I have not played. I always feel bad for the 8 fans because you know the people who are like big 8 fans understand that most people are not very big 8 fans.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like that's cool. I'm glad. Like I'm always happy for stuff getting physical re-releases.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Next story, and I'm actually really excited about this because this is, if you know me, this is kind of up my alley. Although we haven't really talked about. Well, I guess Zoids is. Well, we've never talked about the. I don't know what you call that genre. So, Cap Kakume Bottle Man revealed with toys and a battle set that is compatible with Switch. This is by Sato for Silicon Era. Following the teaser last week, Takara Tomy officially revealed Cap Kakume Bottle Man. The cross-media project features new toys that are a lot like Beat 'em On, but shoot bottle caps instead of marbles. In addition to an anime, a Bottle Man digital battle set was revealed with Nintendo Switch compatibility. The new Shooting Hobby series will kick off in Japan this October. There's like a YouTube for a video for the announcement. The goal behind Bottle Man is to teach kids about recycling and learning how to split up recyclables and such at an earlier age. Takara Tomy calls it an eco-toy that includes messages about the environment and such on the packaging so that even kids can understand. But my question is, will the packaging still be plastic? Because then you're sending kind of mixed messages.
Okay.
The toys will start out with 3 Bottle Man models that will go for 800 yen each. That's not too bad, about $8. Check them out below. We have Kolamaru, he's like a red dragon man. A high-powered power-type Bottle Man. This one is based on the colas that kids love. It has the ability to perform extra powerful charge shots. It actually looks a lot like the Phoenix line of beat-em-ons. BOT-02 Aqua Sports. This is like a blue dragon one. The Aqua Sports is a speed-type Bottle Man that focuses on launching successive shots. It is considered the rival model that is based on sports drinks. When equipped with its magazine, it can shoot 3 shots in a row. We have BOT-03 Gyoku Rock, which looks like a green samurai dude with 2 swords. Lastly, the Gyoku Rock is a control-type Bottle Man that focuses on precise shooting. This is another rival model Bottle Man, except this one is based on T. It has a scope that allows you to shoot with accuracy. And then we have the Bottle Man Digital Battle Set. This is an all-in-one set that includes a battlefield and limited edition Kolamaru Bottle Man for 4,980 yen, about $50. As for the software, it will be available to download free for Switch. It includes 6 types of digital battles that use the Switch and 10 types of shooting battles that just use the field and Bottleman toys. The set includes a number of stands, and the platform for Switch has 3 target sensors. It also has a shield to protect the Switch console from getting scuffed by bottle caps. Good. The digital games include the single-player Drink Quest, the 2-player Score Attack, and Badminton modes. The shooting battle modes include 5 individual competition games: basketball, sniper bowling, struck out, long target. It also includes 5 versus game: long battle, target shooting, push bottle, battle snipe, and PK. We'll get to see more details on the game's modes in the anime. Speaking of the anime, there's also a trailer for that. And the anime will come out on October 9th, 2020. It will be out every Friday via the Takara Tomy channel. And the toys will release in Japan on October 24th. So this isn't confirmed in America yet. And I've probably never talked about this, but I was a real big beat-em-on fan back in the day. And it never got as popular as Beyblade or Bakugan.
Yeah. I mean, we've discussed this a few times on the podcast already, but I keep saying it in the West, if mindshare goes to one franchise or thing that's similar to other things, and if that thing is early enough, then that's going to eat up all the mindshare.
Yeah, well, if this comes to the West, I'm getting one of these.
Okay. I'm sure you are. I never doubted it.
It is a game. It's still a game, so I can talk about it on here.
Sure.
This is awesome. I like how it teaches kids about recycling and stuff, even though there's kind of some controversial stuff about that these days, at least in the US. But, you know, in Japan, I guess it's different. And if you've ever been to Japan, you know how like respectful most of the country is to, you know, in picking up trash and not leaving things and all that. Yeah. Well, at least the land. You can debate stuff about the ocean, but anyway, that's not the point. The point is, this is cool, and if this gets a Western release, then I'm really excited.
I'm happy for you.
Well, don't be happy for me yet.
I'm just happy you're happy. Calm down.
Next story is, once again, from Sal Romano over at Komatsu. Way Forward, Arc System Works, and Rooster Teeth. I don't know why I said like rooster with a Rooster Teeth announced Ruby game due out for multiple platforms in 2021. Publisher Arc System Works and developer Way Forward, in collaboration with Rooster Teeth, have announced the production of a new game based on Ruby. It will launch for multiple platforms in 2021. The new Ruby game will feature an original story written by show writers Kerry Shawcross, Miles Luna, and Eddie Rivas, and creative oversight by Rooster Teeth. Players will take control of Team Ruby, Ruby Rose, Weiss Schnee, Blake Belladonna, and Yang Xiaolong, and utilize their trademark weapons and abilities to deliver the stylish action the series is known for. That's awesome. Just because the last Ruby game was not very good.
Yeah, I'm guessing Way Forward is developing and Arc System Works is producing. Or publishing. I
really hope Arc System Works is doing more stuff on the gameplay side, to be honest.
They might, but Way Forward is pretty solid. They do the Shantae games.
Except for the Bakugan game doesn't look great.
They recently also did the River City Girls game, so
yeah, they've been pretty active with like licensed games recently. There was like Bakugan, this Ruby game, and then something else that I'm completely forgetting.
But what I was trying to get at is it's probably going to be a beat 'em up game with that'd be awesome. Very nice looking pixel art or sprite work. Seeing as Way Forward and both Way Forward and Arc System Works are working on this. So
I remembered what the other game they're working on is.
And that is?
Troll Hunters, Defenders of Arcadia, based on the Netflix show.
I mean, someone's got to make these games.
Well, they just don't look... Like, Troll Hunters and Bakugan don't look that great graphically. I'm still excited for the Bakugan game, though. Because it is technically a Mon game still. But... But yeah, I'm very curious to see how this Ruby game turns out, because the first, not counting. So we're not counting cross tag battle, because that's like a crossover thing. So not counting that, the first Ruby game, Grim Eclipse, was really disappointing. Especially when they list like all the different like great games it was influenced by, and then it just seems like it just didn't all come together.
Yeah.
So I'm hopeful for this. I'm a big Ruby fan too. Like some people say, "Oh, I dropped off of it because of the animation, or this was taking too long, or this and that," and I'm like, I still like it. It's fine.
Okay.
Next story is Nintendo 3DS production has officially come to an end. I can't do the trumpet. I'll put a sound effect in.
Okay. That might be better. Sure.
Nintendo 3DS okay, this is by Ryan Craddock over at Nintendo Life. Production of the mighty Nintendo 3DS system has been officially discontinued, Nintendo has confirmed. The news comes 9 years after the handheld machine first hit the market back in 2011, introducing truly innovative glasses-free 3D tech and a fantastic library of games that would be enjoyed for years to come. The discontinuation applies to all 6 models of the 3DS family: 3DS, 3DS XL, new 3DS, new 3DS XL, 2DS, and new 2DS XL. Sales of the 3DS have been steadily falling since the arrival of the Switch back in 2017, and Nintendo failed to provide any future sales forecast for the system in its recent fiscal earnings report, suggesting that its discontinuation may well be just around the corner. If you're still thinking of buying a 3DS at this late stage and happen to see any in stock at major stores, now will be your last chance to get a brand new console. There's no word on when the eShop will go down, though.
No. I'm guessing they want to keep that backlog up as long as possible, because people will riot if there's no backwards compatibility for 3DS to Switch and they just turn it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when Wii U did have its audience, but you can argue that not a lot of people cared about it enough. And that's why they turned it off, but 3DS is a different conversation.
The Wii U, and that's the one thing I always bring up when people mention the Wii U, is it had a decent virtual console.
Yeah.
Like, especially for Game Boy Advance games, which is, like, really surprising with how Nintendo is with that stuff now.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. Okay. Next up, we have Nintendo Switch Online subscribers jumped to 26 million in 2020. This is by Jenny Ilata for Silicon Era. Nintendo's newest fiscal year ending March 2021 corporate management policy briefing summary has been released in English, and it has a rather striking update regarding Nintendo Switch Online subscribers. While one of the last updates put the service at 15 million subscribers around January 2020, the new figure is 26 million. And based on the image and data, it seems to be Animal Crossing New Horizons' quote-unquote fault. First, the last count came up during the corporate management policy briefing, 9 months financial results briefing for fiscal year ending March 2020. The service was only briefly mentioned there, with Nintendo noting that at the time that there were over 15 million paid subscribers. As shown by the latest graph, this bump came after Pokemon Sword and Shield were released. However, the most substantial surge comes on the graph after Animal Crossing New Horizons. As the game requires an online membership to visit with other people or share designs made at the Able Sister shop, it seems to have influenced and pushed the number up past 26 million. Okay, you can click on the article for more information, but this is great news. I imagine by year's end, they'll hit above 30 million subscribers. But Nintendo being Nintendo, I hope they don't shoot themselves in the foot and just fumble the goodwill they built up over the last
We're taking
few
Nintendo
months.
Switch Online away completely.
No, it's what I'm imagining is they won't support it as good as they should. They won't give people reasons to keep coming back. Well, you have NES Online and SNES Online, but that can only carry subscribers so far. They probably will be clamoring for N64, GameCube games, Game Boy games, up to the Game Boy Advance or 3DS.
Yeah, some of those seem like they're definitely not happening.
Who knows?
I don't think the GameCube one is happening.
And people are also still asking for a dedicated browser or Netflix. And I'm guessing if people don't see that anytime soon, they're probably going to be reevaluating how they're spending their money monthly.
The Netflix thing is so weird to me. Because, like, Nintendo was like, ask Netflix, and Netflix was like, ask Nintendo, and I'm like, okay, well, clearly something's not right here.
Well, I'm of two minds with that. I mean, having Netflix on Switch would be cool, but at the same time, I have my phone, I have my tablet, I have my laptop, I have my TV. They're all Netflix enabled. So it's not a big loss if I don't have it on my Switch. But it would be a problem for people who only have a Switch and nothing else.
But, like, that's what I feel about the browser. Because, like, I just don't understand using a browser on your Switch.
It's just the ease of use thing. Humans are a creature of comfort, and they like ease of use, so there's that.
Yeah, so despite, I wanted to say that despite, like, you know, maybe you don't think Nintendo Switch Online is that great, it's still, for how cheap it is, like $20 for a year, right? Or no, that's the family plan. Or yeah, and then you can split it. Like, I have it split with 3 other friends, so we each just pay $5.
Yeah,
and like that gives you access to a bunch of retro games and the online functionality of stuff. And even though the online isn't the greatest, unfortunately, that's still a pretty good deal.
Yeah, here's hoping they fix a lot of those issues with the rumored Switch Pro model of next year, or the Switch 2 in 3
Switch
or more
Pro,
years.
Switch 2, Switch Advance.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Super
Switch Series, the Switch Series N,
Switch 64,
Switch Q. Oh no, that doesn't work.
Switch U, Switch
3DS. Oh wait, never mind. The new. Oh god, the
Please
new Switch.
No.
Not again.
No. Not again.
The Switch U, the new Switch U.
Yeah.
Oh god. All right. So this is our first big story besides our main topic. Not that the other stories weren't big. I mean, Bottle Man is a pretty big story.
Sure.
But we have everything announced in September 17th. Nintendo Direct Mini Partner Showcase, including Monster Hunter Rise. This is by Adam Bankhurst for IGN. Nintendo has presented a brand new Nintendo Direct Mini Partner Showcase that features such games as Monster Hunter Rise and Monster Hunter Stories 2 Wings of Ruin. There's a typo there. He put Rings of Ruin. You can find a breakdown of each announcement below, as well as the full Nintendo Direct Mini Partner Showcase you can watch for yourself. So I'm just going to go through everything, all the Japanese games, which is most of them. Monster Hunter Rise announced. Monster Hunter Rise was announced, and it will be released on Switch on March 26, 2021. It features a grappling hook system, wire bugs that lets you swing around similar to Spider-Man, and such monsters as Acnosum, Tetranodon, Great Izuchi, and Magnamalo were shown. Those are all new monsters. Magnamalo is the flagship monster for this game. Furthermore, it will feature a large, seamless map that you can explore, and with a new dog-like companion / mount called a Palamute, which helps fight with you similar to a Palico. And you still have your Palico too.
Yeah.
Capcom has also confirmed that there will be a compatibility of some kind with Monster Hunter Stories 2 Wings of Ruin. So this was a good way to start off the Direct.
Yeah. What did you think? What were your thoughts?
It looks great. Okay, so I was talking to my friend about this, who's a huge Monster Hunter fan. You know, traditional Monster Hunter with the quality of life improvements of World and adding monsters from World, that's great. And I've seen, I think it was Imran Khan. I think it was him. He was saying how the Monster Hunter World was more limited because they could only use a number of set skeletal structures for the monsters, and in this one they have more, because I guess in the older ones they also had more, and that's why there was more variety. So that's great. I love that they're adding new, like they're still introducing like a cool new mechanic. Palamute looks great. He looks a lot like what's it, Rapide from Tales of Vesperia.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
I do wonder if that's just the basic look for him, and you can customize his look like a Palico more, because there is a costume you can get that makes him look like a retriever. So I do wonder if you can change the color.
I imagine you can change to the breed of the dog and how that breed looks.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure you can change the breed. I think the design will initially stay the same, but you can change like colors and details, like Palico.
Well, when I say breed, I don't mean like you go from Doberman to Chihuahua. With breed,
that'd be awesome.
I mean, like in Monster Hunter World with the Palico, you can change how how his fur is, how their fur is,
like the fur pattern. Yeah,
exactly. So I'm guessing in terms of that, like maybe ears pointing upwards, ears drooping, or one ear drooping,
that's what I mean when I say details. Yeah.
So that's what I'm talking about. A Chihuahua one.
I was actually surprised they stuck with English voice acting still. Because traditionally the Monster Hunter games would be in Monster Hunter language, which you can still do in World and will still be able to do in this one, most likely.
But I think it's more of an accessibility thing. Because it might make it easier to communicate with people online. Yeah,
that's true. Like, one of my friends, he's a bigger Monster Hunter fan than I am, and he's like, I do not like the English voice acting in this, because he doesn't like when they try to add more of a story to Monster Hunter. And I'm like, well, and I was telling him, like, well, the way I see it, even World doesn't have that much of a story. Like all Monster Hunter games kind of have, at least from the ones I've played, so 4U, Generations, and World, they all have a story that's like, oh, there's this weird like migration pattern happening, or the monsters are acting weird, or there are these certain monsters causing trouble, and you have to go fix that. And that's it. It's like I think it's not that big of a deal to me.
I think it's a good thing, because that's what always kind of kept me from Monster Hunter games, because there wasn't really that much of a narrative or
if you want a Monster Hunter game with a story, play God Eater. That's what you're supposed to do.
No, but with the light story and the voice acting, it kept me coming back. So that's what I want to say. Maybe it's what they're hoping to achieve as a repeat of Monster Hunter World, but just on Switch now.
I'm sure they want more World fans to get into. Which is fine, and it looks great. I think for Switch, it looks great.
I was super surprised, and it's running on the RE engine, so that's even more surprising. I guess that means there are some people technically
it's a Resident Evil game.
7 No, I mean technically Resident Evil 7 or Devil May Cry 5 could come to Switch, but I don't know how much they'd be downscaling that.
Well, because isn't Resident Evil 7 like weirdly on Switch in Japan through streaming or something?
Yeah, because even though RE Engine is now running on Switch, the games RE7, RE8, and Monster Hunter World, Devil May Cry 5, they were built ground up for the other consoles, like PS5, Xbox, PC, and to pare that down for Switch, it's just not going to be possible.
Okay,
and to keep them well optimized.
Okay, so about this kind of goes into our next part of the story. But so I was like reading rumors before the direct because I got up early because I'm like I want to see what this is, because if the rumors are true, like that's pretty cool. But then so it was like, oh yeah, Monster Hunter, the rumored Monster Hunter game for Switch will be announced, and it's called Monster Hunter Rise. Somebody also said something about Monster Hunter Stories 2, and I was like, there's no way, that can't be true. And then I died because Monster Hunter Stories 2 Wings of Ruin arrives on Switch next summer. I was like,
So
oh my god, it's Monster Hunter Stories. If you saw my Twitter thread, which you can still see right now, twitter.com/ArrowM, it says like, oh my god, it says Monster Hunter Stories in all caps, and then it says, I don't swear a lot, but I said, or at least not professionally, but I said,
swore in those tweets.
I swore, and I said, I'm gonna cry. Got me right in the feels. I love the first Monster Hunter Stories, man. And it was so overlooked. So I'm so glad it's getting another chance. Okay. Well, not another chance, but well, kind of.
Try to sell us on Monster Hunter Stories. What makes it so good?
It's Pokemon with Monster Hunter monsters.
Okay, but you can easily counter that but then just go get Pokemon.
The battle system is really well done. And I mean, it's still like a rock paper scissors type battle system, but the weaknesses work like Monster Hunter. So if you take those into account from your Monster Hunter experiences, that makes it like way more fun and a little easier.
It has a tactical edge, but in a different way compared to Pokemon.
Yes.
And the presentation is also very well done. It kind of reminds me of Breath of the Wild or Genshin Impact.
The art style is great, and it's also it's good for people who are like not really into Monster Hunter, because maybe they're like, oh, I don't want to kill the monsters. It's like, okay, well, in this one you befriend them. I mean, okay, you do it by stealing the egg first, but besides
that's sure, okay, but it's a good thing.
So
it's coming
Monster Hunter Stories 2 Wings of Ruin will arrive on Nintendo Switch in summer 2021. As the descendant of a legendary monster rider known as Red, your story will start with the investigation of a mass disappearance of Rathalos from their natural habitats. Capcom has also confirmed that there will be compatibility of some kind with Monster Hunter Rise. This also did not have English the first Monster Hunter Stories. I do not remember having English voice acting. It had Monster Hunter language.
It wasn't 3DS though, so I'm guessing they thought
there are plenty of 3DS games that have English voice acting.
Yeah, but I'm saying Capcom might think, oh, we might not pull this off in time for Monster Hunter Stories.
Also, a number of people noticed this. The girl who is in the trailer, she sounds like possibly the same voice actor as Zelda from Breath of the Wild.
Okay, let's not read too much into things. Let's wait.
Well, she sounds similar. I wouldn't be surprised because just voice actors do a variety of video games, like whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't
but she sounds similar. I'm not confirming or denying anything. I'm just saying she sounded similar, and that was like maybe she is, maybe she's not. I don't know.
It doesn't.
There are plenty of voice actors that sound similar to each other. I just thought it was interesting.
Anyway,
that people were.
I want to say Monster Hunter Stories is available on mobile, Android, and iOS for $20. There is
on the eShop is currently on sale.
Yeah, and on the eShop is also on sale for $20. So that's 3DS, not Switch. Let's
on every platform it's available on, it has a demo.
Yeah, so
you can try before you buy
it out.
And the save file transfers. It's a pretty meaty demo too.
Next up. Okay, next up we have...
I'm skipping to the Japanese
That's
one.
me.
Fitness Boxing 2, Rhythm and Exercise will punch its way to Switch this December. The sequel to Fitness Boxing will have players punching with their Joy-Con controllers on December 4th, 2020. Pick one of 9 instructors, customize your outfits, play with a friend, and much more. Hopefully it's better than the first. That's all I hope for. Then we have Disgaea 6, Defiance of Destiny, coming to Nintendo Switch exclusively in summer 2021. Play as the boastful zombie Zed in this new Disgaea adventure that will arrive exclusively on the Nintendo Switch in 2021. Furthermore, Disgaea 5 Complete will be available to try in a special game trial event for Nintendo Switch Online members from September 23rd to 29th. That's cool.
Yeah, you have
did
about
I say the release date
time.
for Monster Hunter Rise earlier?
Come again?
We didn't say we missed some Monster Hunter Rise.
We said it.
Did it mention like the amiibo?
No, we did not mention
the amiibo. It did not mention the amiibo. There are going to be 3 amiibo for Monster Hunter Rise, and it comes out March 26, 2021. And I don't think there was anything else I missed on that.
I mean,
but as far as the thing.
Come again?
The thing after Disgaea 6, because there's a point I want to bring up. Balan Wonderworld brings a wondrous adventure to Switch next year. Balan Wonderworld, which was revealed at the Xbox event a couple weeks ago, will be released on Nintendo Switch on March 26, 2021, the same day as Monster Hunter Rise, and has you equipping over 80 costumes and wielding a variety of abilities across 12 dreamlike stages. So, once again, Imran Khan, who always seems to know things, said, and this was just speculation on his part, he said, kind of weird that Balan Wonderland and Monster Hunter Rise are releasing the exact same day as if it's around something.
But he's not speculating or hinting at anything. He's just saying it's very curious that these two games are releasing around the same time.
But then the thing is, neither of them are Switch first-party games, so I could see it could just be nothing.
Could be. We'll know soon enough.
But it could be something. I could totally see, just because of how the 3DS, a Monster Hunter Edition, like Switch Pro, that would make sense, right? With how, like, there was a Monster Hunter 3DS XL, and I think a Monster Hunter new 3DS XL as well.
It's possible, but as this year has shown, we cannot predict Nintendo, so let's not predict Nintendo.
No, but if there's a Monster Hunter Switch Pro, I might try to get it.
You don't need it, but sure.
Well, no, because then I could give my old Switch to my friend who she lost her Switch after a breakup, so she can't play it anymore.
Okay, that's unfortunate.
So, yeah. Anyway, next thing is Rune Factory 5 will be released on Switch in 2021. I know our friend Nicole B is excited for that.
Yeah.
Protect your town as a peacekeeping ranger, harvest crops, go fishing, fall in love, and so much more when Rune Factory 5 is released on Nintendo Switch in 2021. Basically like a Harvest Moon Story of Seasons type game, but with magic and monsters and things. It looks really good. Like, visually, I was surprised. I was like, whoa, I wasn't expecting it to look like this.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was expecting.
Imagine Animal Crossing with RPG battles. Then you have a good idea what you're in for.
But, like, yeah, I was so surprised with the art style. It looks great.
Yeah.
I think that's all the Japanese games. Yes.
Yeah, okay. Next up is me.
So basically, Monster Hunter.
Come again?
Basically, Monster Hunter.
We can expect more Nintendo Direct mini partner showcases this year. This is by Damian McFerrin for Nintendo Life. Nintendo has just rounded off the third of its Nintendo Direct mini partner showcases with a focus on third-party titles coming to Switch. During the presentation, the lid was lifted on Monster Hunter Rise, Monster Hunter Stories 2, Fitness Boxing 2, and Ori and the Will of the Wisps. While many fans are hopeful that the company will return to the full-fat direct broadcast the company is known for, especially as COVID-19 has wiped out gaming events like E3, during which these presentations would normally take place, it would seem that the mini format is here to stay, at least for 2020. During the presentation, it was confirmed that we'll be getting more small-scale partner showcases this year, although it wasn't clear precisely how many will be coming. The ongoing pandemic has clearly caused havoc with Nintendo's schedule this year, which is no doubt why we've seen games like Pikmin 3 Deluxe get shadow dropped without warning. Okay, so more partner directs upcoming. Keep your eyes peeled for that.
I wonder how many they even have planned. How many more they even have planned for this year? It can't be that many, right? I'd say since it's about the end of summer, I'd say they have maybe one for fall and one for winter. Right?
Possible.
If they have that.
Possible.
Because it says showcase multiple, so I'm expecting at least more than one. I'm expecting at least two. But I'm not expecting any more than that.
It's possible. We don't know yet. We really don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up is all you.
Next story. Ni no Kuni Cross Worlds characters and story highlighted in new screenshots. This is from Siliconera by Sato. So Netmarble recently shared a batch of new screenshots for its upcoming smartphone MMORPG Ni no Kuni Cross Worlds. Images show more from the game's story and character set in the alternate world of Ni no Kuni. In Ni no Kuni Cross Worlds, you will get to select out of several character classes. However, the 5 starting character classes are actually players from their world who are beta testing a virtual reality game called Soul Divers. As the players progress through the game, they begin to realize that they've in fact been sent to an alternate world of Ni no Kuni, where they meet a mysterious woman known as Lania. So I guess it's like Ni no Kuni / .hack or Ni no Kuni.
Like I said, Dragon Quest Your Story last week.
Yeah. Lania talks to the players about fulfilling their destiny of rebuilding a fallen kingdom in order to face off against a menacing foe. This foe not only threatens Ni no Kuni, but our world as well, as the 2 worlds are linked together. Here's a look at the 5 characters that you can play as, plus 1 mascot character. We have the Swordsman, who looks kind of like Hal from Howl's Moving Castle. We have the Witch, who looks like... she looks like some character from a Ghibli movie, but I forgot who. We have the Destroyer, who's a big, buff, shirtless dude with a beard, and a fade cut. And then we have the Rogue, who looks a lot like what's his name? Oh God, what's his name? What is the protagonist in Ni no Kuni 2? What's his name?
What is his name? Alan?
No, it's not Alan.
I'm looking it up.
It's not Oliver. Oliver was the first one.
Yeah, wait. The story follows Evan.
His name is
Evan Petawhisker.
Yeah. So he looks a lot like Evan, but with black ears, with black cat ears. And then the engineer, who doesn't look like anybody particular to me. And then we have the mascot Ku, who's a little bat thing with like a clover on his head.
Mm-hmm.
While the game is a smartphone title, the developers are putting work into bringing in the charm of Ni no Kuni series through its beautifully depicted world and breathtaking sceneries. However, the developers also mentioned that the appearance isn't the only thing that is in the works, as plenty of other content is being prepared for the title as well. We'll learn more about those in a future update, including a special program at TGS 2020 on September 26, 2020. Ni no Kuni Cross Worlds. Oh my god, Nintendo Cross Worlds, imagine. Ni no Kuni Cross Worlds is set to launch for iOS and Android devices in 2020. So that's neat.
Yeah.
I'm always excited for a new level 5 game, even though it's a mobile title. I'm willing to give it a shot.
Okay.
So now we have the main topic.
Yeah. The main topic. Yeah.
PS5 event impressions and the pre-order fiasco mess, whatever you want to call
it. Real quick, because last week we didn't really discuss the Xbox pricing. Now that both are known, the Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X, PS5 digital, and PS5 normal standard edition. What is your preference? What are your thoughts on the pricing?
My thoughts are that I'm glad that they're the same price.
You mean the Series X, right? And the PS5? Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you think the prices are too high? Are they just about right?
I mean, with all the new technology, I think they're just about right. I feel like if you went to $599, people would be like, oof, I don't know about that.
Yeah. But the hardware inside is easily at least $500 to, let's say, $800.
Yeah, but they're clearly, what do you call it, selling it at like a loss, right? Because they expect to make their money back, I'm guessing.
Yeah, because it's for mainstream consumers. People don't want to be shelling out $1,000 for something that's deemed to be entertainment or a toy. It's especially going to be a tough sell if grandma sees $1,000 price tag for little Timmy this Christmas.
Well, depending on who your grandma is, the 500 is not cheap.
We're talking about the average grandma. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, the average grandma might not have 500, depending on the country.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So PlayStation 5 had its event yesterday, and they will be launching in November. There are two dates. You have November 12th for US. For the US territories, Japan, Canada, Mexico, Australia, New Zealand, and South Korea. And November 19th for the rest of the world.
Everywhere
An asterisk saying availability in each country subject to local import regulations. PS5 launch date for China is still under exploration and will be announced at a later date, which is hilarious because these consoles are manufactured in China. Yeah, the digital edition for the PS5 is $399, which is $400 flat, and the PS5 standard is $499.99, is $500. Which will you be going for? I'm guessing the physical will
probably the physical.
Yeah,
but especially because the digital. Wait, because either way, it still has less space than the Series X, right?
Yeah, it has about 800 gigabytes of storage.
Yeah,
but
the Series X has 1,000.
It's maybe not directly relevant to Sony, but one of Xbox's head honcho said file sizes for video games will be slightly smaller. Well, that was just for the Series S, but the reason why games take up so much space is because on the Blu-ray drive you have to have blocks of the same data, so that when the disc spins, it can easily access that data. Now that the SSD is here and then the new architecture for input-output, they can streamline that process to a degree that the file sizes will probably not change all that much, or even in fact shrink, which is the hope.
I just prefer, because especially for because collector's editions are probably are still going to come with disc for a little while, and if I get a collector's edition of whatever game that I really want or something, it's just good to have a nice box.
It would also make importing a lot easier. Let's say there's a special edition that's only available in Japan or in Europe, and America's not getting it. So I imagine you'd want to import the disc physically instead of fumbling with changing your region in the settings.
Changing the region stuff. Yeah, that's the one advantage. That's the one thing I love about Switch. Changing the region is so easy. So
I have a lot of
on
physical games, so I'm probably sticking with the physical disc drive. Which means I'll be.
I need another shelf. That's what I've been noticing. I'm since I haven't been able to normally I trade in things to GameStop and save money on the next game and stuff like that. But I just haven't been just going there is such a hassle now. That I've just have this collection of games that I need to I might trade them into a retro game store at some point in the future, but in the meanwhile I just need to get an extra shelf.
Or you could just sell it on eBay,
or
become a reseller on Amazon,
or sell on eBay. Or I haven't really got to I don't really like going to the post office much, but
I mean, I'm saying you have options.
Yeah.
Okay.
But,
one thing I want to mention is that there's also a PS Plus collection on launch available for PS5, which is a collection of some of the best PS4 games. And I'm trying to look up a list.
It's Persona 5.
Hold on.
No,
hold on. I'm looking
it's right here. It's right here. It's on the article.
Not the one I have open, I think.
The Siliconera one has the full list.
Wait.
Based on the announcement trailer.
Okay. I'm not seeing it. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, found it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's right there.
PS Plus Collection. Okay. You have Battlefield 1, Batman Arkham Knight, Bloodborne, Days Gone,
Yeah.
Detroit Become Human, Fallout 4, Final Fantasy 15, God of War,
Yeah.
Infamous Second Son, The Last
Dang it.
Guardian, The Last of Us Remastered, Monster Hunter World, Mortal Kombat
Yeah.
X, Persona 5,
Yeah.
no Persona 5 Royal, but okay, Ratchet and
Yeah,
Clank,
that's a little weird.
Resident Evil 7, Uncharted
Yeah.
4, A Thief's End, and Until Dawn.
Yeah.
Which is
I
a
don't
great
like Infamous
selection.
Second Son, but otherwise this is a great list.
I think I saw in the trailer that Bloodborne looked optimized. I want to say 60 FPS, but
So-
I might be imagining things. They haven't really made it clear how the optimizations will look on PS5. Just that these
Okay.
games will be available at launch digitally.
So a number of these games,
if you're a subscriber to PlayStation Plus.
a number of these games have already been available through PlayStation Plus. Arkham Knight, Detroit, I think Infamous Second Son was at one point. Last of Us Remastered,
Yeah.
Uncharted 4. What I'm wondering is, will you be able to transfer your save file from PS4 to PS5? You think?
That's an interesting question.
So in terms of Persona 5, people are not going to want to go through that again.
I'm guessing yes, but I'm not sure. They haven't made that clear. I guess we'll be finding out in the coming months how that
if I could do
really
that
works
with World and 15, that would be great.
Yeah, and I'm guessing Fallout 4 is also a
and
pretty
Bloodborne.
big game, and I don't think you don't want to redo that.
Yeah, like a
all
number
over
of these
again.
games, like you people are not going to want to replay this.
But as a value proposition, this is a pretty good deal. Let's just say you get PlayStation Plus for like $60, I think, a month now. And
Did you say
having
16
all
or
these
60?
games, 60,
That's
60.
Really a month?
No, a year. Sorry,
Yeah. I was like, wait a minute.
it's $60 a year.
Okay, so no, that's what it was
clarification.
for me before anyway. That's like the standard price.
Yeah, so having it be that price and all these games available is a very good proposition, a value proposition. It's not on par with Game Pass, but the quality of these games,
it may be.
I doubt that. I'll get to that as to why, but as a value proposition, this is very good. The quality speaks for itself. And you maybe missed out on the PS4 generation, and on PS5 for $60 a year, this is a great deal.
Yeah,
as
that's
to
a lot
why
of
I
great
doubt
games.
this, as to why I doubt this will be growing to a Game Pass-like system. Jim Ryan said they don't want that because they don't see the value in it, and they think that having a subscription service means earning less money per game, which is probably true because
they have
we also
PlayStation
don't
Now,
have
though.
a firm answer. Sure, but when it comes to subscription service, we don't have a clear answer on how developers are earning back their money, or how the publisher, in this case Sony or Microsoft with Game Pass, are earning back that money. But yeah, it's a good service nonetheless. Let's see what else we can find through the article. During the showcase, Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition was seen, which features Virgil as a playable character. It should be noted that this game will be available for $40 on PS5, and Virgil will be special DLC, or paid DLC, I should say, for Devil May Cry 5 owners on PS4. Also shown, and my highlight of the night, was Final Fantasy 16.
Yes.
It's
probably the best thing, the highlight of my
in terms of atmosphere, it's probably going to be in the world of Final Fantasy 14 and 12 and tactics. like Ivalice or Ivalice adjacent. And that's probably also due to it being developed by Business Development Group 3, which is spearheaded by Naoki Yoshida, who is the executive producer for Final Fantasy XIV. He's also the executive producer on this game, and the director for Final Fantasy XIV, I want to say. What's his name? I want to get this right. Hiroshi Takai is also the director for this game, and he also directed The Last Remnant, which to me indicates that Final Fantasy 16 will have very interesting battles and battle mechanics.
Yes. Well, did you see who the battle director is? Did you see who the battle director is?
Yeah.
Specifically.
Yeah, it's the one from DMC5. So they got that guy from Capcom, and he's now working here at Square Enix. It's looking DMC-esque. It's very evident.
It looks kind of like 15, like an improved version of 15 combat in a way, but that's because that's the only Final Fantasy game I feel like I can compare it to.
Well, you can see a clear evolution from 13 in the way it looks, then to 15 in the way it plays, and then 7 Remake in the way that is perfected, quote unquote, and now in 16 you have the next iteration of that. It's like they were slowly testing out how to bring this about, and it's looking really great. And RPG Site has a good article about what you can probably expect from this game, and it's
likely it'll come out. A lot of people are saying it's likely it will come out as soon as 2022.
I sent a tweet of Jason Schreier in the Discord, and he mentioned that a lot of insiders are telling him development began a long time ago, so it's probably out sooner rather than later. And I already complained about the it'll come out next decade jokes, so so
I do wonder if 16 was something else before, and then they decided before anything was announced. Oh, you think? I imagine not. So you think development started probably before 15 was finished, or?
You have to take in account game developers don't stick to one game at a time, no matter what they say.
And it's not the entire same team or anything either.
Yeah, they're always tinkering with systems, with stories, with settings. So it might as well have been developed simultaneously, because the 15 entry was done by Luminous Studios, which was helmed by Tabata, who's now left the company. And this is done by Business Development Studio 3. I'm guessing I'm getting the name wrong, but it's a different division within Square Enix. It's the same division that does Final Fantasy XIV, Realm Reborn, and all the DLC. But this is an interesting thing. In the no-clip documentary on the Final Fantasy XIV reboot, Yoshida was asked about if he'd do anything else for the studio, because with the success of A Realm Reborn, everyone was asking him, you should do a mainline Final Fantasy game. Are you going to be doing a mainline Final Fantasy game? And he kind of answered that, but also left a lot of room for interpretation.
Maybe.
He wasn't winking at the camera. He was more like saying he's busy with 14, so he doesn't know if he really have time. But if he'd do it, he'd want to do it to the best of his ability, something along those lines. And he kind of winked in the announcement post on the PlayStation blog, saying it's kind of a ways off, and we'll be announcing more details next year. So keep on speculating.
I forgot if it was the Siliconera article that I put there. No, it was. There was an article and I forgot what it was, but there was this whole thing about how there was stuff that I forgot if it was Yoshida or somebody else, and was inspired by Tactics Ogre, and now they're actually and now they're working together with the person who worked on Tactics Ogre, and like just everything comes full circle.
I think it was the director. He mentioned that he was a fan of Final Fantasy 1. Wait, let me see that quote. Where is it?
And we're in good hands because this director has been working on Final Fantasy games since 5. Not always as director.
He said, when Final Fantasy 1 was released, I was just another player, a young student with big dreams. By the time Final Fantasy 5 was in the works, I had earned myself a seat at the developer's table, albeit at the very end.
What article is that?
This is the PlayStation blog article
on
Final Fantasy 16.
Need to put that in recommended.
And he says, from there, I moved online, leaving my mark on both Final Fantasy 11 and 14, and now 16. So you have someone who worked very closely with Naoki Yoshida on 14, someone who has experience with Final Fantasy 11, 5, and who was a fan of 1, and who also directed The Last Remnant doing this game, which is just super exciting to me. We don't know a lot of the details. It's the trailer is pretty meaty, like 5 minutes, I want to say.
Surprisingly.
You have summon battles that look like kaiju battles, which was cool. I think that also fired you up.
I mean, a little bit, but I wasn't actually thinking about it at the time. But then when I saw Marble, I was like, hey, I know what that is because of 14.
But, yeah. It's looking great, and I can't wait to play it.
What a way to start that off, that conference. Or press thing. Whatever you want to call it. Event.
Let's see.
Wait, was there more on Final Fantasy 16? Yeah, there's a little more on Final Fantasy 16. I should have ordered these differently. My bad. So Final Fantasy 16 and Demon Souls, which were the two, I believe they were the only two Japanese games shown during the event, right?
Let me take a quick look just to be safe.
I'm relatively sure.
I'm not saying you're mistaken. I'm just checking.
No, there was a highlight reel at the end that showed more, but it showed everything so quickly that I don't...
DMC5 Special Edition.
DMC5 Special Edition.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay. So not counting that. So Final Fantasy 16 and Demon Souls... Oh, well, this is you. I forgot you put... Well, it doesn't matter. We're on the main topic. We can do either.
Yeah, we're on the main topic. We're just talking.
Final Fantasy 16 and Demon Souls PC announcement were just mysteriously scrubbed. So, on both trailers, they said, like, PlayStation 5 exclusive, and then on the bottom, or PlayStation exclusive, and then on the bottom, it would say, it had an asterisk and said, also on PC. And this is an article from IGN by Matt T.M. Kim. It's become unclear what the PC release details are looking like for either of those two titles. They had included small print at the end that indicated some kind of release on PC. However, since those trailers went live, any mention of a PC release for either have been mysteriously scrubbed. In the case of Final Fantasy XVI, Square Enix asked IGN to remove mention of a PC from our initial Final Fantasy XVI news story, and when asked for a statement, a Square Enix spokesperson said, "We have no further information on if Final Fantasy XVI will be released on platforms other than the PS5. As for Demon Souls, IGN has been told that the text stating the remake would be coming to PC and other consoles was included in error. Indeed, the Final Fantasy XVI trailer no longer includes any small print that indicates another platform besides PlayStation 5, and the Demon Souls trailer has been taken down as of the time of this report."
That's a pretty big error to have at time of publishing.
I think maybe they just did it a little too early. I don't think Final Fantasy 16 is going to stay PS5 exclusive.
No, it's not going to stay on PS5. It's also coming to PC at least.
Demon Souls is a little weirder because doesn't Sony own the license for that?
Yeah, but
I guess they could still put it on PC because Horizon's on PC and stuff.
They have mentioned that in terms of their first party lineup coming to PC, they will be doing it, not for every first party game, but they're looking into bringing more of their lineup to PC.
So I think they just jumped the gun on that. Without realizing it.
The thing is, Sony is aware of how the fanboys will react to anything they say. So it also being on PC will have the fanboys angry and screaming, "Oh no, you're ruining this and this and this," because it was a huge problem with Death Stranding and Horizon coming to PC. Well, not a huge problem, just a lot of people were belly aching. And I think they want to spare themselves the headache this time around.
Look, I'm really happy Horizon came to PC. It's one of my favorite PS4 games. Unfortunately, the port I heard was not very good.
They've cleaned it up a bit since then. And I'm guessing the trailer of Final Fantasy 16 starts with, this is footage that has been
emulated on a PC.
Recorded from a PC.
Yeah.
Which is indicative of the targeted results they want on PS5.
Yeah.
So that already gives you an impression of where their minds are at with the development. And the engine used for Final Fantasy 16 is the same as Final Fantasy 14, A Realm Reborn, and that's on PC. So I'm guessing this will be symbiotic, and this will also probably coincide next year with an announcement that Final Fantasy 14 is also making its way to PS5.
Yeah, I think there were like rumblings about that earlier too. That's
well, they ask Yoshida, like, is it coming to PS5? And he says, I'd like it to come to PS5.
Yeah,
but
like,
he didn't
we can't
give a
confirm
firm
anything
answer
yet, but I hope it does.
Yeah.
So the last story before we get into the pre-order fiasco thing is that PS5 won't be backwards compatible with PS3, PS2, or PS1 games. This is by Matthew Adler for IGN. PlayStation 5 will be compatible with 99% of PS4 games, according to Sony Interactive Entertainment CEO and President Jim Ryan, although that may be as far as backwards compatibility goes. In a recent interview with Famitsu, which was translated by Siliconera, Ryan had explained that PS5 will not be compatible with PS3, PS2, and PS1 titles. When asked about the possible inclusion of older generation titles, Ryan replied, "We keep in mind the engineering specialized for the PS5 as we produce the device. In the midst of that, the PS4 already has 100 million players. We thought they ought to want to play PS4 titles on the PS5 as well indeed. So we included compatibility with the PS4. While implementing that, we also focused our efforts on taking in the high-speed SSD and the new controller DualSense at the same time. So unfortunately, we cannot achieve compatibility with those formats. A recent patent hinted at the possibility that PS3, PS2, and PS1 games could be emulated on PS5 via the cloud, but as with many patents, they don't always pan out." I mean, they still could, probably. Right?
Yeah. They said they tested the PS4 library on PS5, and 99% will be backwards compatible.
Yeah,
they're assuming or guessing.
Yeah,
it's not like a hard
I thought
answer.
They actually tested.
They tested a lot of PS4 games, but it's not like they're saying, 99% of these games will definitely be backwards compatible. It's more like
they're saying like most of them should work.
Yeah, like we tested a bunch, so I'm guessing a lot of it will work. The PS3, PS2, and PS1 will probably be coming sometime.
Maybe
if they,
I don't know because of how.
I don't think it will because of what Jim Ryan said in the interview.
Yeah,
but I think there's a chance because this might be a break in case of emergency glass scenario where maybe if fan sentiment has dwindled, this might be the best way to win back.
I kind of think. Well, the thing is, I think developers are more looking into doing remakes or collection or remastered collections now rather than just re-releasing the game as it. Well, unless you're Nintendo, of course, but.
Well, both options have their benefits. If you do a remaster or a remake, you can probably fully realize the vision you had for a game. If you just do a port of a game or just an upscale remaster, you're putting a game out as is with some adjustments. but the game is out on current generation consoles. So either scenario is kind of a win-win.
The thing I worry about is if they did do like the digital re-releases, I worry that the sections will get buried eventually. Like it'll just support will just stop, and like those sections will be hard to find. Similar to PS2 on PS4.
I'm guessing they'll be fine-tuning the discoverability options in the PSN store with PS5. They've heard people talk about this throughout the PS4 generation. Even developers have said, like, my game is on it and I can't even find it. So it is a problem, and it's something they should address. Maybe with more powerful filtering tools, maybe with more curated lists like they've been doing recently.
Maybe don't publish so many things that are like I am Mayo or whatever.
Look, we've had a discussion last week. I'm saying
the easy platform.
Who are we to decide who gets published or what gets published?
I'm not giving Greg Miller more easy platinums. He needs to earn them.
No. The game that might be a 5 for you might be a 10 for someone else, and the barrier of entry being
I don't think
what
anybody
it is
likes
now,
I am Mayo.
That's not for you to decide, man. Unfortunately,
I'm pretty sure.
Pretty sure it's not a certainty, and I just want to say
that game was taken
the
off
the barrier of entry being what it is allows more developers to put their games on the PlayStation Store. If we start limiting that to an arbitrary sense of quality, we're going to be hampering a lot more indie devs with that
That's
mindset.
True.
And I don't think we want that.
But when things are like straight up like just not, I can't think of a specific example, but like really actually just ripping off another game. Oh, yeah. Just like really blatantly ripping off another game. Like there's got to be a line somewhere.
That's up to the standards department.
Well, especially if they're particularly if they're like stolen assets. That's where it gets like really bad.
That's what I said. Like the standards department or the people doing the certification have to do a tight check on what's what, and if it doesn't interfere with any copyright another publisher or developer might have, or what Sony might have, that's on them. If something slips past them, that's on them. But I think being more limiting would not be a good look.
Okay, so our last story, and the end of the main topic before we head off is PS5 pre-orders began a day early, and so far they're a mess. This is by Taylor Lyles for The Verge. Sony ended
Taylor Lyles and Sean Hollister.
Oh, and Sean Hollister, yes. Sony ended its presentation Wednesday with the long-awaited price and release date for the PS5, but stopped short of telling gamers when and where to buy one. Until a tweet seemed to make things clearer. Pre-orders would begin tomorrow on September 17th from, I believe the tweet was from Jeff Keighley. Or so it seemed for an hour or two. Now it's become an utter mess. Gamers across the globe raced to get their pre-orders in as retailers jumped the gun. Prospective customers were met with broken links, page timeouts, and out-of-stock messages in the US and beyond. In the UK, for example, one Verge staffer managed to snag a PS5 digital edition in the 3 minutes the Amazon link was live and available to purchase. Perhaps eager to capitalize on the demand, retailers quickly turned the pre-order situation into a free-for-all, opening the floodgates a day early and allowing the quickest and savviest buyers to swoop in. Some called or walked into their local GameStop to secure a pre-order a day early, or seemingly just lucked out with one of Walmart's listings for the PS5 and PS5 Digital Edition. Walmart even gleefully tweeted that it was pushing the console out ahead of schedule. Soon, GameStop issued a press release advertising availability of PS5 online, even though at the time it didn't actually have a product page where you could buy one. Now you can find project pages at Target and Best Buy too. GameStop's project listings also appear to be up, but hilariously the site appears to have triggered some DDoS protection and was initially blocked for many people, including us. And good luck actually getting one. Even if you get through to one of these stores, not only are these listings flickering in and out of stock and erroring out of adding items to your cart, we've also had them ripped out of our cart in the middle of a transaction. Target says it's already completely out of pre-orders, and we're also hearing that Walmart is already canceling some successful pre-orders as well. In more ways than one, it reminds us of the NES or the SNES Classic launch fiasco. It seems like you not only need to be on the dot, but also have refreshed your page a few times to get one in your cart. And might be quick about typing in your payment info because you can still lose the pre-order as you check out. Also, the Best Buy cart doesn't seem to allow us to even begin to check out. A couple of Verge editors gave up after an hour, and one of us came back to find out it had been removed from our cart. Even if you manage to get one, there's no guarantee it will arrive on launch day. Our attempt at Target initially showed we might get it from Friday, November 13th to Wednesday, November 18th before telling us we couldn't get one at all. If ordering at GameStop, you may also have to go in person to pre-purchase the console. The minimum down payment for the PS5 is $50 at the retailer. But GameStop notes there are additional ways to pay for the system, including a flexible rent-to-own payment system that allows gamers to pay off products between 30 days to 1 year. Amazon also didn't wait in the US. It opened up its own pre-orders shortly before midnight Eastern and appears to have sold out both versions before the clock struck 12. Sony had warned that it might be challenging to pre-purchase a PS5 due to high demand and low supply, but Sony also promised it would give gamers plenty of advance notice. Nope. When pre-orders would begin. And then the invite-only pre-order registration form, which most people got later than they expected. We both got one.
Yeah.
But
my second account didn't get one, which is interesting. But they did mention that this is just a chance at pre-ordering. If you don't get notified via mail, that means you weren't selected.
Yeah.
So us being selected means we're lucky in this respect.
Unfortunately, a lot of people might have not even noticed the email because it was sent out to some people pretty late. Like it came in waves. There was like a first wave initially, and then later there was like a second wave, I guess. 'Cause I got the second wave.
Before the event went live yesterday, you could still register your email or your PSN ID for a chance to snag a pre-order.
So I was trying to order from Best Buy, like while waiting for the email, because the page wasn't up anywhere, and it was crazy. Because like I was looking at Twitter, looking at various Discords, like everybody was. It was kind of nice in a way. Like it was chaotic, but it seemed like everybody was trying to get one, was trying to help each other out. Like we're all uniting against one common enemy: scalpers.
Yeah.
But that was kind of nice. That it's just like everybody's like, oh no, now this link's back up. Oh, it's like, oh, it's sold out now. Oh well, now this link's back up, and then we're like, everybody's just scrambling. I was in Best Buy, just kept refreshing. Yes. I got as far as I got to checkout, but I never got to payment info. And I was also like constantly refreshing my email. And then once I got the email, I was like, all right, I'm done.
So either Sony miscommunicated with their retail partners, or this was planned to create artificial hype or artificial scarcity to create hype for the PS5. Because now it's all anyone talks about, but it's also causing a lot of frustration because people who just want their console aren't getting their console, and that's unfortunate. It should also be said, you don't need something at launch, just because it's a big new shiny thing. If you have a PS4, a lot of these games like Miles Morales, Spider-Man, and Horizon Forbidden West,
too,
are coming Sackboy are coming to PS4, and you also get a free digital upgrade to PS5 when the time comes. So even if you're still stuck with your old PS4, you'll be fine for now.
Yeah,
just wait till next year when.
I also just want people to remember. Because, people who cover games, obviously we're on a small site, so it's not really, it doesn't really. I mean, it kind of does apply for us, but not in the same way. Like even people for big
It's
sites,
not life or
they
death
have
for
to
us.
they have to buy their own consoles. They're not provided by the company or anything. They have to pay out of pocket.
The company can get, I'd say, maybe 3 consoles for the company.
Yes.
To test, to review, and having like 30 people on staff or even 100 people on staff, that
True.
budget racks up.
And it makes it even
at the end
harder
of the
when
bill.
you don't have offices to go to right now.
Yeah, so it's not a very financially sound thing to do. So that's probably why they leave it up to their
anybody who
individual.
Anybody who thinks games media is paid by devs and publishers to give games a high rating, no. That's not how it works. Also,
No.
there's a bunch of ethical problems with that.
Well, if it were to happen, believe me, the hungry journalist would pounce on that story quicker than you can imagine. And the fact that it hasn't happened
it
should
has
tell
before,
you enough.
but it doesn't happen often.
Well, there's an argument to be made for it, if it actually happened or not.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, so
there's this whole thing with like the marketing department and editorial department and like this whole thing.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, just be kind. Support each other.
Be kind. Be
In
kind
these
to your
in these trying
retailers, to the
That
people
too.
working at retailer, because they didn't ask to be put in this predicament.
Mhm.
So keep that in mind. It's still a pandemic. People are overworked, overstressed, worried about their health. They don't need extra stress about you not getting your console. So take that into account.
Don't blame the retailer, blame Sony. Or don't blame no. Don't blame the workers, I mean.
Someone is to blame. We don't know who.
Someone is to blame, and they're in the higher positions probably. You
Someone
probably
is to
wouldn't
blame.
see them.
We don't know who, so that means you don't blame everyone.
Yeah.
Just wait, be patient. You'll be fine.
Mhm.
You'll be catered to eventually. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's it for this week.
Yeah, unfortunately, we got no listener questions despite the number of really interesting news bits we had today. Oh well.
I mean, it gave us enough room to really dive into these topics and talk about what we felt.
Yeah, that's true. We really need to get another guest on soon.
We'll be fine. We'll be fine. Okay, that'll round us out for this week. I have been Jason. This has been Erroll. We thank you for listening to us.
I'm still dead.
We hope you're staying safe. We hope you're healthy.
Wash your hands. Wear a mask. Be kind.
And we'll see you next week.
Yes. Matane.
Bye.